terms of this blockchain phenomenon over the last couple of years, what is it, first of all, and why should we pay attention to it as treasurers and CFOs?
Sure. As treasurers and CEOs, I think the reason why you should pay attention to this technology is that it changes the way we view and measure risk. Right? So obviously we have future risk, technology risk, whole set of risks, but most of them in terms of if we manage them after the fact, right, in some sense it's too late. And so the technology is interesting because it has transparency, it has speed, but what its real benefits is that it provides a new way of doing decentralized trust that previously we had centralized systems. So what we heard this morning is centralized operations to do regional work, and yet this technology is fundamentally different from that. It's actually doing something in a decentralized fashion that actually has the same results. So the selective transparency with the blockchain, because you can see everything, and the fact that you can put into the code what you don't want to happen before it happens, is a game changer for Treasury and for CFOs, because you can state a priori what you don't want to have happen. Now that's very interesting. What's also a benefit for the technology is that it provides real-time audit. Now we heard this morning that some corporates have 130 local operations that they have to coordinate. The scale at which these blockchains operate, which are in the thousands, and again Bitcoin is one of the examples, has a new accounting model. It is an accounting innovation, so that's why it's such a game changer, because it affects everything. Right. And it does this through selective transparency, through cryptography, and through avoiding problems before they happen. So that's really important when you're in the business of managing risk, right? Specifically when you're managing risks of increasingly complex systems and networks of business. And we heard this morning about supply chains, how they're changing, how banks shouldn't sell product, they should listen to their customers. The change is the new constant. We're building networks of commercial relationship which have new exogenous and interrelated risks. So the current system of doing it, whereby you audit once a month, you get the balance sheet once a month, is relatively meaningless, right, because the risks can happen at any time, from anywhere. So the way that you need to view this technology is saying, you know what, here's what I don't want to have happen, and program it into the system beforehand. Or if it does go in this direction, let me know. So purely from this search for clarity and the search for control, what's different about blockchain is that it does so in a very different way, through duplication. So the irony is that you have a bad boy technology, right, Bitcoin and all the rest of that, but through duplication, through the use of applied cryptography, we can take the trust out of the system. We don't have to rely on counterparty trust. We rely the trust in physics or mathematics, right? You know, can you break the lock? Can you break the cryptographic lock? So if you can do that, then there are different problems. But this massive simplification, which is the accounting innovation of network accounting through blockchain, is what I think people need to get their heads around.